Well, good morning. This is morning me, and this video, there are a good bit of it. It seems to have audio shifting, that the audio doesn't quite match up to the video, and I think my phone was just a little slow yesterday, dragging, and so it kind of desynchronized the video a little bit, so I'm sorry about that, but hopefully you get the gist. Tonight it's a Boar brush. This is a Whip Dog Boar brush. I'm sure it's an OEM, something from China or AliExpress or something like that, but I have really enjoyed it. And this is the, you can get these on AliExpress as well. I think DS Cosmetics. I think this particular one's a Shave Forge. It doesn't have the writing on the bottom. And we're going to, especially important with Boar brushes, make sure you get them wet before you shave. You don't have to put them in a jar like this. You can just get them really wet and then just let them sit there, and kind of the residual dampness that's on there will, because that water needs to absorb into the bristles, because boars do that, badgers don't. And the soap we're going to use today, Reef Point was an excellent soap making company, and they kind of closed up shop this year. And Earl Grey and Ginger is one that I have not tried from them yet, but their base is really good. And so I've tried to pick up the ones that I don't have yet on the secondary market as they have become available, just as the title says. I think somebody said that there was a little bit of jasmine in here as well, and so I can definitely pick up that floral. I do pick up a light tea scent. I don't pick up a ton of ginger. So let's just see what happens. And this is the dry puck. It's one of the harder croaks. The razor today is the Tech. This is the ball end Tech. The other day I had the fat handle. I had it on a Maggard's handle instead, but the base was a fat handle that normally came with it. And this is a later model. This has A as the date code. And so I believe that's 1955 if my lookup is correct. And so this one has the kind of the Gillette logo on the top cap. And everything else is identical. This is a more of a gold type plate rather than the chrome of the other one. But then the other one was pre-war, and they did not use date codes at that point. When this one was made, they did use date codes, and I'll show you. See that A right there? That's the date code. And then they're always, there's a number part to it, but it's never right beside the letter. It's always on the opposite side in a kind of a symmetrical fashion. And I believe that's a 1 right there. And so that means that's the first quarter. If A means 1955, and I'm pretty sure it does, that's the first quarter of 1955 is when this razor was made. And there we go. The blade I'm going to put in it is the same one I used yesterday. Gillette Silver Blue. It's got about 13 or so uses on it. And I am using the same blade because I'm very interested to see if I can tell a difference between this post-war Tech 1955 and the pre-war Tech, which gave me such a great shave yesterday. It was just very surprising. I did not expect it to shave so closely, because after all, it's a very mild razor. And I did not expect it to, I did expect it to be extremely comfortable, but I didn't know that it was going to cut me so well. And it felt great too. All right, these nimble little thin handles can really help you to pivot that head around and maneuver it really well. It's a solid handle, so it's got some weight to it. And so even though visually I like that bar handle, the fat handle Tech, I like that fat handle better visually, but it's hollow. And so in practical use, I actually like this thinner handle better. All right, I like to let my boars soak for about 3 or 4 minutes. Anything more than that is fine. It just doesn't seem to be too helpful once you get past the 3 or 4 minutes from my particular experience. All right, let me douse my face with some water. All right, so as usual, I'm going to shake most of the water out of the brush. And then we did not soak this puck. This is a crope. It's not a hard soap. Does not need soaking. And let's 15 seconds is on the clock. So let's go for 30 seconds. So we'll go all the way up to 45. You can see I've already got airy, bubbly right away. And that's normal. There was some water in the soap, in the brush, after all. Sneaky, sneaky. And there's 30 seconds. I got a feeling this is going to be plenty. Kind of wipe it up here. And that's what it looks like. You know, just for grins, doesn't look like all that much. Let's do 10 more seconds. So it'll be a 40-second lather. I haven't done this base in a while, and so I don't want to make a and with a Boar brush, and so I didn't want to make a mistake there. Better to overdo it than underdo it, and then I'll make a note for next time. All right. It's a mild scent. There's a barbershop scent by Reef Point. The performance is excellent, as always. However, I believe that one was the one that just was very light, very mild and understated, but just hard to discern during the shave. And so I did pass that one on to somebody else, or at least it's on my to sell list. But most of their other soaps have more scent strength, scent power. This is not a really stiff badger. It's very comfortable. I really enjoy it. I like tea scents. We'll see if this one is strong enough to do the job. I am starting to get a little bit of that early lather. The thick stuff. This one did not bubble up and give me that thin, bubbly lather up front, watery and stuff. It's starting out more thick. So now I am going that I've mixed for a little bit. Soap bases are just interesting. So we'll just put half a teaspoon in there. Combine that. Not going to wait too long before we put the next dose in. Another half. And another. Lather's looking good. I do like my badgers. I like those soft tips. I like the lower backbone or medium backbone. But this particular boar is really nice. If a nuclear bomb went off and destroyed all badgers out there, then I'd be happy with this brush. All right. Doing well. Nice scent is coming up to me. It's a good sign. Do a little finger test. Oh, that's slick. Man, they've got a good base. Cannot feel the ridges on my fingertips, on my fingerprints, and so that is a creamy, luxurious lather. Very nice. I'm going to add a little bit more water to it. I'm going to refill the syringe, so this is going to be 2.5 teaspoons of water in there. I did have a lightly wet brush. Man, this is going to be awesome. Dragon's blood was very pungent with whatever scent it was. I thought maybe it was a really heavy, a high citrus that was just very strong. And so if you like citrus, then you're golden for that one. And so I passed that one on. That was just a little too much for me. They have Aviator, so good. Submariner, terrific. Love that. All right, I think we're probably in good shape. I may need to add a little bit more water, but I can always do that after the fact. Look at that lather, shiny, glorious. Very nice. Okay, now I'm going to rinse my face one more time. All right, here we go. Nice. Nice feel. Not a lot of backbone. Good splay. This lather feels terrific. Yeah, I'm getting that scent, so that's good. That is awesome lather. Boar hair. I think this knot's been used about 50 or 60 times. Still losing a bristle or two. That's not too bad. Still young. All right. Tech. And this did not have those triangle holes that I talked about yesterday that are indicative of a pre-war tech. It has the date code, so we're able to date it. Let's see if it shaves differently, if I can tell if it does, than yesterday's. Oh, that feels good. Okay, this one is smoother than yesterday's. I almost don't feel the cutting at all. And sometimes I really don't. That's nice. Let's just hope that it is efficient as well. If Comfort is no good if it doesn't give me the shave closeness that I'm looking for. I don't have super high standards, but I hope to get at least a DFS out of it. Confidence inspiring. Just don't even feel like I could cut myself with this if I wanted to. So this is more smooth. And rinse. How the lather is behaving visually. I can pull it all down. Big old glob. Not a whole lot of contours. Now let's look at the peaks. Not super long. That's all right. Not super flexible, but just right for me. Really happy with it. Creamy, very luxurious. I'm liking the scent. Just right when you want something not all that exciting, you know, just calming tea type scent. I'm thankful that the ginger is kind of muted. I didn't really need a dominant ginger, and I didn't get it, so I'm glad about that. Scent strength, just standing here not moving the air around me, is probably at a 2 or a 3, and so it's more like a 4 when I am brushing it on and activating the air and things like that. Second pass. Funny enough, this second pass feels a little bit more like the pre-war second pass. In both cases, by now we've knocked off most of the hair. Now in this second pass, I'm going to start some strategic work here with buffing like this. I'm getting a really nice slick lather from this soap, so no danger of irritating myself. All very inspiring in terms of just fearlessness with this razor. It inspires confidence. Very nice. And rinse. All right. This is giving me a nice residual lather. Lots of comfy slickness as I am rinsing between each pass. I mean, to me, this lather competes with the top tier. To be honest with you, just creamy and very enjoyable, providing great glide. I don't care as much about the post-shave aspects of it, because I'll go to Willie's skin. This almost has maybe an ozone flavor scent to it. There might be something else, the tea scent combining with, you know, something else, but it's kind of the way it's coming out. I like it. Fresh, clean. All right, third pass. Now we're going to pull the skin over right here, because this is my trouble spot. The hair lays pretty close to the skin. Press right here, move it slightly, which adds a little tension to the skin. You don't want to over pull, over stretch. And this is a cross grain pattern for this hair growth right here. It grows down this way. So coming at it like this is pretty cross grain. Very comfortable. I think by this point the pre-war was comfortable, but you could kind of feel it cutting and stuff. It was a little bit easier to find the angle. I find that with these mild razors that make you hunt the angle down, these shorter strokes are better, because when you don't hit it, you know, and you can just kind of instantly adjust. Very nice, excellent, comfortable shave. Let's just hope the results are as good. The closeness, rinse time. 40-second lather, build up, loading of the brush, 40 seconds. Looks like I could have stopped at 30 and been just fine. Wanted to play it safe. So maybe next time we'll do that. Plenty of lather left over. In just a second I'll see if I need any of this for the touch-up. But there we go. I think 30 for this particular brand of soap with this brush might be about right. Nice clean scent. That ozone seems to be a dominant note. I usually mix my tea. I'm from the South, and so I drink sweet, little bit of sweet tea, and I like it on the bitter side. And so the tea note that I'm getting from this is not on that tart bitter side where I kind of like it. It's more soft. And so, in case you need to know that, let's do a little inspection. That was not quite as good as the pre-war tech shave in terms of closeness of the cut, but it's almost the same. It's so close, I don't even care to you know, make a mental note of the difference in terms of, you know, if I'm going to choose one, you know, I just pick whichever one I like the feel of. I just like the efficiency of that pre-war. It just had this great consistent blade feel, whereas this 1955 version, not very much blade feel at all, but still it cut really well. And both of them doing it in just 3 passes, I believe. I don't think I did a touch-up yesterday either. Very nice. Really nice. So you just can't go wrong with these. I have been recommending these because other people that I trust have been recommending them. And now that I've tried both, I can still even more heartily recommend these to new shavers, or any shaver that wants a good shave. So for me, they work really well. And the GSB, Gillette Silver Blue Blade, it's not even a super young one. It's not even a baby. It is 13 uses old or something like that, and it performs like a champ. I'm sure if you were in use number 2 or 3, it would be even better. No irritation at all. Very nice. Residual slickness is there. This is such a good soap base. I'm glad I managed to be exposed to these guys, this company, before they unfortunately had to close their doors. I think there are still a few online vendors that have some reserve amounts of their product, maybe by now. But wow, I remember the first time I had one of their soaps was espresso, and while I'm not a big coffee fan, I was just really impressed by the performance and the slickness, and so that's what led me in to try a lot of their stuff out, and I'm really glad that I found it. I'm glad somebody included it. They included it in a box or a lot of varied soaps, and that was my introduction to it. Very cool. A 40-second load. 2.5 teaspoons of water was used. I've already showed you. I have already shown you the amount of lather we have left over, which is, you almost could consider margin, acceptable margin, but I might back off that load just a little bit. I wonder if I did this, I did DR Harris yesterday. I wonder I could do a test to see. I used a soft badger yesterday with the DR Harris. If I use this particular Boar, I wonder if it would give me a different, if the load time would be noticeably different. The construction of these techs are interior brass, and then they have some plating on the outside, whether it's stainless steel or gold or something like that. And so this is a heavy, kind of dense handle, and they'll last you many lifetimes because of the construction. There are some aluminum versions out there of different years. I don't know exactly what. I think they're later on in the development period of the techs, but and then there are also some Zamac versions. I think after about 1965, or somewhere around there, they switched from the brass construction to the Zamac, and this one no doubt is all plated brass. Just really enjoyed this shave, and just wanted to mention the different construction materials used during the lifetime of the techs. For a long time it's plated brass, and later on, maybe as they saw people moving into the double-bladed razors, I don't think triples came along yet, like the Atras and things like that. I think maybe the tech's popularity started to wane a little bit, so they tried to juice it up by having aluminum versions, and then they switched to Zamac, which obviously is going to be cheaper than brass. But that means that there are later models of tech that can break in a tragic way if you drop them, whereas the brass models will probably hold together a little better. And another thing that can happen with the Zamac or pot metal versions is that when water gets into the parts, the stem here, the bolt that goes down into the handle, water gets in there and hangs out, it can begin corrosion, and then eventually that could lead to a break, whereas that's much less likely with the older ones, the full brass ones. Just a beautiful slick lather here. Very nice. Nicely hydrated. Lots of glide for the razor as it moves across your skin. The moisture will also help to bond the kind of the lubricative properties to your skin. When it's dry, when it hasn't been hydrated enough, it just kind of sits on top of your skin. At least that's how it feels in my experience. For those of you to whom this is important, the post-shave feel is excellent. Face feels great. If you don't feel like I need to put on anything at all. So you know what I'm going to do today? Let's do the Thayers Witch Hazel. I put it in a spray bottle so I can just kind of spray my hand a few times, and it just less seems to get away through my fingers that way. And this is unscented with aloe and alcohol-free. I might try the alcohol version at some point. Since I do have oily skin, alcohol can kind of help me to control that a little bit. Also we'll let you know Thayers is a kind of more of a tonic or a toner, because there's not a whole lot of actual witch hazel in it, probably around 8 to 10%. Had a discussion online about that several months ago, I think. And I think most of it is the aloe juice and water, that type of thing. And so those are also healthy things for you. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's a scam. But just to let you know, it's not pure witch hazel, which is kind of cool, because real witch hazel stinks. And so we put all this, we get all these scented products to where we enjoy the scent as we shave, and then we put some stinky witch hazel on us. It's kind of funny. So I'm kind of liking the Thayers. I've got the oily skin, and so it works out all right. So to sum up, this was an excellent shave. I think I like the feel a little bit better of the pre-war tech, like I mentioned before. But this one was great. Talk about comfortable and smooth. One of those where you almost wonder, did I forget to put the blade in there on occasion? And I think it's partly due to this excellent creamy soap. I believe I dialed the lather in just right this time. And this brush, I just really enjoy it. It seems to have a few more hairs than my Samoga Owners Club. That's a very well-renowned brush, and it's good for good reasons. It just seems to do a little bit better job for me, maybe, at this point in my life. And so I like it a lot. And so there we go for the shave. The rest of the video, I'm just going to mention, if you're not aware of the break-in process for boars, and that they have one. And so if you know about that already, you can tune out. Thanks for watching. So boar brushes, they absorb water in their bristles. Right now, as you can see, it's bending nicely, and before the shave it was not. It was more like a broom. Okay, that's just the way boars are. When they absorb the water, then they become much more flexible. And then something that happens during the break-in period, if you may be able to notice a few of the brush bristle tips. Yeah, there's one right up here that have split. And that is the break-in process with boar brushes. You want those tips to split. Sometimes into 2, sometimes into 3 little points. And that is where softness is going to come from with your boar brush. And so some boar brushes will be very different just 2 weeks after you start using them. There are others that take a longer time before they get comfortable. In the beginning, I had to basically go back to the tub before each pass. There was no mixing it all up ahead of time, okay? Because it wasn't splayed out like this. It was all straight up, and it would only splay a little bit, and it just wasn't splaying out enough to hold the lather. And that's just the way boar brushes are. But they have been popular for a long time because badgers, there was a much higher price difference between badgers and boars. And so for $15, you can get a boar brush that you can train, and you can work out and break it in, and then it becomes a very soft, very enjoyable brush for just about $15. And the synthetics have come into play now over the last few years, and they have started to maybe take over that market at that same price point. There's no break-in period, and they have softer tips, that sort of thing. And so the synthetics are definitely competing in what the market that the boar had. The badgers are starting to come down lower in price, and so they're starting to compete as well. But to me, I think I'll always have a few boars in my list. It is really neat to have something slowly get better and better and better each time you use it. This is this one didn't take very long. I think maybe 6 or 8 uses before I could use it almost like normal. And now I think 50 or 60 uses, and it's, you see that kind of splay that's happening now. And it's just it's terrific to use. It'll get even better, and as the tips split, it'll get even softer and softer. Another thing with the Boars, if you can alternate days, if you're trying to get it to split and break in, the drying process is kind of what helps the tips to split. And so if you use it every single day, it may not necessarily have the ability to dry like it should. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I think it'll help your break-in process. I think that's some research that I've seen online from some pretty trusted sources. So there we go. There are accelerated break-in options. I haven't really tried any of them. I don't really think I'm interested in that. At some point I may try it just to see. My break-in has just been use it. And there are a lot of great shavers out there who have the same belief. There are also some other great shavers that like accelerating things. There's a cold water soak method where you put it in a cold water soak, put it in the fridge every few hours. I think every few hours you remove it, take it out of the mug or cup that you're soaking it in, and I think you take a towel and work it really well for a few minutes, and you put it back in the cup, back in the fridge. You do that for 1, 2, 3 days. You can just look up Boar brush or Boar shaving brush, cold water soak method or cold water method or something like that, and it'll tell you how to do that. There are a couple of other, I think putting lather in it and then just letting it soak is maybe another one, but I just use them. And there are some brands that take much longer, either Omega or Zenith. I think maybe Omega. There are some Omega brushes that really take a while to break in. And so if you find yourself having one of those, then the cold water method or some type of shortcut method like that may be worth investigating. And it may be commonplace among people who have those brushes. But Samog, I've had very good experiences with those. I had one break in, or at least be usable in a fairly normal way in just 5 uses. Another one took about 15 uses. And so I've had experience with Samogs, and it's a fairly short break-in period. But if you don't know anything about it, super frustrating at first. Those first couple of shaves where it just sucks. It's a horrible brush. Doesn't hold any lather. It sucks at building lather. But just wade through it. You might even do practice palm lathers with it several times instead of actual real shave lathers. But then you'll be rewarded, and it is really neat to have a brush grow and have you be the person that's kind of training it and building it up. So there we go. There's something about Boars if you didn't know that already. All right. I hope that this video was helpful to somebody out there, and you take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.